sweet harmony. Someday we'll all be free. Someday.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, it is time for the second semi-finals of the Titans League Tournament, Age of Empires 2 HD Edition. We are at the right bracket semi-finals. Laser Raptor versus the Fate, the first place from the Imperial Age versus the second place from the Dark Age. Will this be an all Imperial Age finals, or will the last beacon of the Dark Age prevail and move on to that oh so important finals? Let's go very quickly to the bracket stage screen for a little bit while we prepare for this very game. And yeah, the music cuts, of course. And let's take a look at the journey that these two players have been through. Now, of course, as I said before, Laser Raptor is now suddenly the last player from the Dark Age that is to survive this tournament. That is quite unexpected, I would say. And I am very curious if he can hold it up, because we have seen a lot of highly regarded Dark Age players fall suddenly. We have seen Banana Bread getting slaughtered by Flojo. We have seen and Igionic is also being slaughtered by Flojo. So is Flojo maybe the antidote versus all the Dark Age players? Is that what's going on? Maybe Laser Raptor is also of that capability. On the other hand, we have the Fate. He has been undefeated this tournament, and he quite convincingly defeated B Swift last week in a fairly interesting match, I would say. That was very toe to toe, and I'm afraid that Laser Raptor will be of another of another dimension. But I want to ask you all to stick around for the end of the stream, because I have a big announcement to make. Actually, I have two big announcements to make. Come to think of it, two big announcements on the end of the stream. So let's all wait for that. And as I said, let's not wait too long. And sorry guys, I was preoccupied reading chat, because indeed this game is live. This is the first best of 3 that will be live, and it works just as the other games. There will be a 10-minute pause between every game to recuperate a little bit, for me to prepare the scores and whatnot. The bans and the picks have already been chosen, and I will discuss these with you as the game starts. And for the rest, it's just Migration, Oasis, Arabia in this best of 3. So without any further ado, let's hop into the very first game. I will notify the players that they can begin. Let's see who will win this very first map. Migration. It will be Laser Raptor versus the Fate. The game is loading up for the very first time, completely live. I'm very much hoping that the stream will hold up. I have not really tested this. As of now, it is working. Let me take you guys to that very game, and it is super interesting right off the bat. Oh my god. Okay. On the bottom side, in blue, it is Laser Raptor playing as the Celts. On the top side, in red, it is the Fate playing as the Spanish. The Spanish versus the Celts is the very first matchup that we will see today. And, well, then I don't have to tell you what the picks were, because you just heard me screaming them. For the people that are interested in the band, in the bands were as follows. We did a coin toss this day, a couple of hours beforehand, to decide who is player 1. And to get to decide who is player 1, I should say. The Fate won the coin toss, and he chose to beat player 2. So Laser Raptor banned the Saracens first. The Fate banned the Britons afterwards. Then Laser Raptor banned the Japanese, and the Fate banned the Vikings. So Saracens and Japanese for Laser Raptor, and Britons and Vikings for the Fate. Very I would say normal bans for a map like Migration, and as I said before, very much picks that can work for maps like Archipelago, Islands, and of course Migration. Now let's address the huge elephant in the room. This island, this map generation is insane. This map generation is absolutely bonkers. Both players, I mean, I do think that both players are not too known with a map like Migration, but Laser Raptor, if he sees that he is not connected to the side of the map, and that the tip of his island is so far to the middle, he can already conclude that this map is weird, man. How Migration should be a super small island on the sides of the map, and this island should be dominant. It is barely bigger. Maybe it's in tiles. It might be just as big. And look at this. It's a it's a mountain. It's simply a mountain. So the entire dynamic of moving onto this island, capturing it and dominating will not work as it will work on, I would say, a normal Migration map. This is indeed a Migration map, but it's an Archipelago map. This is I wouldn't call this a Migration map at all in terms of how this would play out. So that is very interesting. And I'm very interested to see what these players will do. Because they cannot, well, you can know. Because both players have this tip of the isle very far into the middle of the map. And that could give away something. That could give away the fact that it is super, like, thin or something. I would have expected that the island would run over here and then expand a little bit more over here. But for some reason it didn't. And the big thing about this is that there is no blockade to the other side. So that means that the time for your galleys to travel to the other side is reduced by easily 30 seconds, if not more. Which, again, completes the entire dynamic. Yes, it's clumped by gold. It's not completely blocked, you're right. It's not completely blocked, but it's a little bit awkward. This map has all kinds of weird generation things going on. Now, I like best of threes because we're always certain that another game will happen. Whatever happens here. We see that both players are still very close in points. They are both already on one dock. Well, not already, it's pretty normal. And I didn't even have the chance to talk about this matchup because, my god, I mean, this map, I've never seen something like this in Migration. And I didn't play 1,000 games of Migration. I played my fair share, I would say that. But I wouldn't necessarily call me a Migration expert, but certainly adapt. And this is crazy. Celts versus Spanish. So the Spanish late game are super scary because they have the ballistics. They have the ballistics upgrade for their cannon galleons, which means that the cannon galleons, not the bullets, what's the word? Like the balls, cannonballs, are tracking the units, just like ballistics would do for archers. Their shot is tracked, and this means that the accuracy of cannon galleons is way up. It makes them way more effective in naval combat. They're more used for sieging land than for naval combat, but the Spanish can easily use them for naval combat for just just naval bombard cannons. And it's so scary. The Spanish in Imperial Age on a sea map. Oof. Super scary. So, the Fate's plan, because of course he is the Spanish, his power spike, his relative power spike is by far in the castle to the Imperial Age. And that is where the Fates should try to go. On the other hand, the Celts, and this is why this matchup is interesting. The Celts is a little bit flipped. They have the wood bonus, which gives them a huge advantage on a map like. Look at the Fate, by the way. He has already scouted the situation. He knows. I don't think Laseraptor does not know. He has no idea how this island is positioned. The Fate does. He now sees how short the distance is. He knows that the island is non-relevant almost. This is a simple islands map or archipelago, as I said. So he should do something with this information, and we will see in a couple of seconds of minutes if he will. He's already 200 points ahead. Let's not forget that too, and that is interesting because I was talking about this. The Celts should have an advantage right now, in my opinion, because they have that wood bonus, and wood is such an important resource on a map like Migration. You have that resource advantage, you have that versatility, and you have that possibility to just simply build more docks with the same amount of lumberjacks. Now we will see that Laseraptor will advance to that feudal age very quickly. WTF from the Fate, but it's 11:30, my friend. That's a very normal timing. Yes, he has clicked up now, but he knows he is behind. He knows he's behind in momentum. He is behind in population, but not in momentum. So the Celts have that lumberjack bonus that really helps them in that dark feudal age and early castle age, I would say. But then the power priority, as if you will, kind of switches to the Spanish, and that's what makes it interesting because. The Celt bonus, the Lumberjack bonus, is a bonus that kind of wears off in the late game because they don't have the two-man saw, the latest Lumberjack upgrade, the Imperial Lumberjack upgrade. So, and I do believe, I don't do this often because I don't like to interrupt the game, but let's very quickly go to the Spanish. The Spanish also don't. Okay, let me then restate what I said, because some civilizations do, and that means that the lumberjack, the wood collection is kind of even, which it now kind of is too. But it surely mitigates it. Having said that, I still think that the Spanish are stronger late game. Now the Fate is very lucky that he just farmed this, so he'll have no problem just moving away with these villagers. But he's just now gotten feudal age, full 90 seconds later than his opponent. He is on 3 docks, just as Laseraptor, but Laseraptor does have that huge advantage. There's a huge momentum advantage. And what will the Fate do to deal with this? I'm hoping he won't make the same mistake as Ickonic did Tuesday and not storing up on his galleys before counterattacking. Let's go to the Fate. Let's see if he's going to actually. He is making 3 galleys out of. They will all come out at once. Okay, Laseraptor realizes this. Let's not forget that Laseraptor lost against Ickonic. So that's a very interesting history there to get these players matched up in that way. Now there are already 6 galleys for Laseraptor, getting a huge advantage over that, huge naval priority. And in a game where this is simply not a real migration game, because this island is not that relevant now, that's a huge problem. Now look at the thing, he is scoring up on these docks. And he's made a back dock fort. I don't know if that was the right call because you cannot sustain 4 docks at this point. He has 5 gold miners, a galley. I forgot the cost of a galley. It's 90 wood and 40 gold. I think 30 or 40 gold. I forgot. That's a shame. Well. the thing is, it doesn't really matter because this is certainly not a number of of gold miners that can keep up with the production of 4 docks going for galleys. There are 6 galleys stored up here. And he should really, the only time he really has is when this gets damage. Okay, this is the time to strike, he thinks. Yes, LaserRaptor was watching this. He has certainly learned from his mistakes. And the positioning from the Fade is instantly super awkward. They will both trade a galley, but the numbers advantage for LaserRaptor is really there. Now again, he does not really have the economy to keep this up for much longer. He's adding a 5th dock. But look at this. Kind of bailing on the micro there. LaserRaptor is now trying to dodge the arrows. Look, he clearly practiced on this. Last time he had to do this. And LaserRaptor is now still doubling his opponent in these galleys, which is all there is to this game right now. The island is not important at all. It's all about naval priority and not getting yourself wrecked too much. Now the Fade is trying to pick off, look at this. I do not agree with this, but somehow it works because LaserRaptor is clearly doing something with his economy here. There, the first dock will go down. I'm not sure if he should prioritize the docks. Because, well, yeah, Fade is just building more docks, which is kind of a logical thing to do. But this is a problem for the Fade. This is a huge problem for the Fade. How will he react to this? The reaction is run away. A short-term solution, I would say. Now, again, look, he is making all these docks, but more docks doesn't necessarily mean more galleys, because if you cannot sustain the production, there's no reason that dock should be there, and it's essentially wood wasted. And with an economy like this, there is no need for 5 docks. He should probably put that wood in something else. I understand the towers. I do not disagree with the towers. But something has to happen here. And this is a big problem because LaserRaptor, he started off with a deficit. But this is what I said with the Celts, who have that wood advantage. And if you're already putting your resources in docks that you cannot use, you're putting yourself even... you're putting yourself behind even more. Fade is just being annoying with 1 galley. Is that the only galley he has? Yes, 3. He has 3 galleys. Probably has 2 stored up in here. But there has to be some sort of turnaround. Now, LaserRaptor has already arrived at the quote-unquote off bigger island. He's just losing this galley for no reason. This is getting a bit out of hand for the Fade, which is a little bit of a problem. It doesn't really seem like he has a plan against this. This is also a new story for the Fade because he has always had the early naval priority. He's had it against Flojo. And in the Highland game he also went for that early naval control. So this is a new situation for him, and it appears that he is not really used to dealing with it, because the difference is just getting bigger and bigger. This is the risk of picking the Spanish. You have to get to that late game, and let's not forget that he picked the Spanish into this matchup. He is player 2. He got the counter pick. This will be the 3rd game that the player 2 loses. The player that gets the counter pick loses for the 3rd time. That's very interesting to me, because it is a very unfavorable matchup, I would say. It's a hard matchup for the Spanish to win. You have to get to that mid to late game, but it's so hard to get there. Look at this, completely dominated. Well, the timing was way off, but the production is just simply superior because all the woodcutters, because all of the woodcutters that LaserRaptor has. And the difference is now 1,000 points difference. But it doesn't seem like the Fade is interested in giving up. There are some shenanigans probably going on. Will LaserRaptor notice? No. no shenanigans, and there will be a GG there for the Fade, and it will be 1-0 for Laser Raptor, winning the migration map on a very interesting map that's really turning the tables in terms of strategy here. Now, let's see if we can find that in the wood collection. The wood collection is kind of the same, but if you look at the other resources, you see how much of a toll that paid. The Fade had to pay for that. Laser Raptor is almost doubling him in food collection and has a considerable amount of gold in the bank there for him. Look at this, but this was obviously the biggest problem. You cannot, in any circumstance, lose that momentum game versus a Celtic player if you counterpick the Spanish. That is impossible. And maybe 10 seconds is even painful, I would say. But 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that's impossible. It was hard to get back from that from the get-go, because you have to play from behind all the time. So, a mistake from the get-go from the Fade. And yes, this is migration. This is a very strange map. But you should be able to handle these situations if you want to win the best of 3 and if you want to be that finalist. Okay, guys, I think that was a very interesting first game. We've got to see what the players are about. I think the game was closer than Ickjannik versus Flojo, so I think that's good. We will now go to a very short 10-minute break, give the players a little bit of rest. And then the picks and bans will occur during this break. So we will immediately hop into the next game just in 10 minutes. Let me set up the timer for that. I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Bye-bye, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the semifinals. It's 1-0 for Laser Raptor, and we are about to enter that second game that will, of course, be played on Oasis. Ooh, yes, ooh, yes, ooh, yes. Oasis, a very interesting map. The bans have already been dealt, and the picks have already been decided. So it is time to very quickly hop into that second game. I'm waiting on the players to ready things up, and there we will go. So the second game, as we're waiting on the players to start the game, I will go over the bans. So first, Laser Raptor banned the Celts. Then the Fate banned the Britons again. So it seems like the Fate's not interested in getting tied up or against the Celts. Sorry guys, there's something going on. There's some issue, so it seems. Oh no, he was just one of the players was not aware that the game was supposed to start. Nothing is going wrong. No, not everything is alles goed. But now it is, because the game has started. So let's move into that game. As I said, after that, Laser Raptor banned the Mongols, and then the Fate banned the Franks. So Celts and Mongols for Laser Raptor, and Britons and Franks for the Fate. We have arrived at another icy Oasis map. It is one player against the other. Let's go. On the left side! In blue, it is Laser Raptor as the Mayans. On the right side, in red, it is the Fate, and he's playing as the Goths. Ooh, the Goths versus the Mayans. So very clearly a counter pick here for the Fate. Where in the last game he didn't necessarily get a counter pick. He kind of counter picked himself, I would say. This time he's going to try to get a counter pick off. Look at this. This is super awesome, by the way. Holy moly. He's going to try to get a counter pick off with the Goths. And that would be your first intuition, to say the Goths are a counter pick to the Mayans, because, well, they have Huskarls. Huskarls have 6 pierce armor. They can deal with the Mayans fairly easily. And that is, of course, correct. The Huskarls are very effective versus archer units. But the Goths on a map like Oasis are so hard to play. Because as we've seen last game, and if there are players here, Spelers is a Dutch word. There are players here that have played the Oasis map enough. They know that the stalemate situation on one of the sides of the map is very common. There are 2 wall-offs for both players on both sides, and at one side there is this major battle going on. On the other side, maybe some shenanigans, but most of the time there is a battle on one side. That's how most games will pan out. And the problem for the Goths is that they cannot build stone walls. So it's so hard. You have to first, you can make palisades walls, but they can only hold for so long. And then you have to wall off with buildings. And you are playing versus the Mayans. And they are so strong early on. They have all the tools to run you down. And if you cannot make these walls, well, you're not gonna make a single Huskarl because you're dead. And that's a big problem, and that's a big concern that I have for the Fate. Because if you look at it in that way, he again picked himself into a late game versus early game matchup where he has to survive. And he just, let's be honest here, he got destroyed by Laser Raptor. Laser Raptor is trying to disrupt the boar pool from the Fate, and he will succeed. And that will be nice there for Laser Raptor. So having that advantage already. And look at the points. It's a 100-point difference. Of course he's the Mayan, so he has more scouting to do. So or he gets to scout more. But look at all the things that he's doing. He's stealing sheep. He's denying boars. He is already outplaying outplaying the Fate on multiple levels. And this is not what you need if you are saying, I'm going to survive your early game. That is exactly what you are trying to do with the matchup that is Goths versus the Mayans. Because the Goths are one of these civilizations. If you get behind, you don't really have the tools to come back. You just don't. The Goths want to survive without too much losses in the early game and mid game, and then completely run you over with Huskarls if possible. Now, the other problem is, and this is maybe the biggest reason why you don't really see the Goths that often, is because the strategy that they have is very easy to counter. The Huskarls, yes, they are strong versus archers, but if you just make champions, or if you're good with Onager Micro, you can super easily dispose all these Huskarls. And this is why you don't see them so often, and this is also the reason why they are considered a little bit bad. The Goths are not considered one of the stronger civs, so I think that is a bit of a mispick from the Fate. And unless he has some specific strategy, because let's not forget, the last game was the first game that the Fate lost, and oh no, he thought he'd aggroed it, but the boar, he cancelled it. He cancelled the aggro. Oh no, this is not going well for the Fate. He's already 200 points behind. And Laser Raptor, he is not going Castle Age, that would be a bit quick. He's not going Feudal Age, but he is building a barracks. So we will see some aggression early on, which is to be expected. What will he do? Will he instantly go for Militia? It's a very interesting barracks timing, I would say. We will have to wait and see. Let's keep that barracks selected so that we can see that. Now the boar will be pulled, but Laser Raptor successfully stole the sheep. Is he going to? He's going to lose his scout over attempting to steal back the sheep. Everything's going wrong for the Fate here. And Laser Raptor is doing a lot of things right. Not only is he playing the early game just correctly, but is also just outplaying his opponent. Now it will be Feudal Age aggression. I thought so. Was a little bit of an awkward, not that it mattered in this circumstance, but a little bit of awkward barracks timing. Nevertheless, I think Laser Raptor is playing pretty good, way better than his opponent. And this is a problem. This is a very huge problem. Because the Fate is already behind, of course. He's behind 1-0. Oh, did the banner update? Yes, it did. I didn't even check that. And he has to answer for the aggression that is coming. It does seem like there will be a Man-at-Arms push. I think that's what's going to happen. I would advise on a map like Oasis to already start moving, because it's a long distance. And you want to time that Man-at-Arms push when you're exactly getting the tech. Because the big strength of a Man-at-Arms push is the power spike. The unit on itself is not that interesting in the age, because people can make archers counter you very hard, they can make scouts and outplay you very hard, but the timing, the huge difference that a Man-at-Arms, the advantage that a Man-at-Arms push has over the other strategy is the timing. You can make militia in the Dark Age, move them up, and while you're going to the Feudal Age, clicking aggressively with them, and when they arrive, let them be the Man-at-Arms. All the other units, you have to, when you reach the Feudal Age, build the buildings, stack up, get that unit, and then move over. So you win so much time with that. But is the Fate going to be in time? It does seem so. And that is because Laser Raptor didn't execute this correctly. He should have moved up, because a map like Oasis has a lot of traveling time. And the timing of the Man-at-Arms, again, is super important, because the militia, we've seen drushes now. We've seen how hard it is. You have to micro correctly in order to do damage with it. But the Man-at-Arms are so much stronger that it's less of a problem, and there are considerable units when they are in your route line this early, and you didn't make any units of yourself. You're still maybe making that archery range, because the units are in the base again when you are just arriving at the Feudal Age, so this is a big problem. Now I'm pretty sure that Laser Raptor is not happy with this outcome, but this is a huge deal for the Fate. He is still 400 points behind. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. And he made a super huge mistake by not leaving a villager here. I do not understand why he left his villager. Because he knows that he's going to hack down this wall. So he completely nullifies his own wall with moving his villagers away. And now it's a real big problem. A palisade wall... Oh, there was a accidental pass from the Fate. A little bit of panic, I would imagine. Because now it's all down to Micro. Is he going to wall it off? Oh no, Laser Raptor is not making use of his timing. Is he going to wall it off? You have to be way quicker than this, the Fate. You have to assemble your units way faster and better than this. No, he fails to wall it off. And now he has a huge problem. Because he only has one barracks. He doesn't really have units. Is he making units? No, he's not making units. Oh my god, this is not good. This is not good at all. But this is simply... There are two reasons that this has happened. I think this is simply GG. Laser Raptor has outplayed the Fate in so many ways in the early game. And the Fate is making so many mistakes. Again, it's so funny how the semifinals went, both of them. Both first place players from the groups are getting defeated in the semifinals by making huge mistakes. This is not how the Fate played in the other games. I think he was also maybe a little bit nervous. Or he is, because this is live. There is now a tower in his life. He's not making units. I'm not sure what he is doing. But he has a lot of issues. That's for sure. And this is simply an outclass for Laser Raptor. What does make things interesting is that the skill level that Laser Raptor is on is, in my opinion, now very similar to Flojo. I enjoyed my time in your tournament. GG. And just like that, Laser Raptor absolutely destroys the Fate in another 0-2 semifinals. That means that we will have that Imperial Age, Dark Age finals, just not the one that people kind of expected. It will be Laser Raptor versus Flojo. The Fate will be, after being undefeated in the entire tournament, knocked out in a 2-0, I should say. 2-0 best of 3 versus Laser Raptor. And where he got completely outmatched. Both games, Laser Raptor played so much better than his opponent. This was maybe even more convincing in the end than the game Flojo for the best of 3 that was Flojo versus Ikionic. What a shocking semifinals, people. And well, I kind of prepared myself before the semifinals for a 3-hour long extravaganza best of 3, but both turned out to be, not under an hour. This one was certainly under an hour. I mean, both games together were not even 30 minutes, I think. So that is absolutely crazy. But that's how things go sometimes. That's how things go. And that means that just like that, the last semifinals is over. And that leaves us with only one best of 3 left. We started with 24 players. Only 2 have survived. Laser Raptor and Flojo. We can look at the stats, but I don't think it's very interesting. That was total annihilation. But again, the Fate certainly counterpicked himself again in this matchup. So that's something to consider. I enjoyed this time in the tournament. We enjoyed your games, certainly the Fate, and I'm hoping to see you soon in the next tournament, which leads me to my first announcement of the stream. Let's go to the brackets instead of this screen. I have 2 announcements to make before signing off already. Announcement number 1. I have 3 announcements. I just can't think of it. 3 announcements. I'm going to start with another one. This is going great, guys. The first announcement is that the finals will be next week on Sunday, the 20th of January, 7 o'clock, live. It will be Laseraptor versus Flojo. I am super hyped for this matchup. I have no idea who's going to win, and I'm hoping we will see an Arabia game versus against these players, because that will be amazing. So, Sunday will be the day that the finals will be streamed. So, clear your agendas, do nothing, get your friends, and watch the finals of the Titans League. That is the 20th of January. Tuesday, because don't be afraid, Tuesday there will be a stream, because Tuesday the community game stream will be there. And I can tell you that there is one game, and it has already been played. In fact, I already have the replay on my computer. The match that will be played, it's not the only match that will be played, but it's the match that will be played, is Blueprints versus Wildell. Yes, you are not dreaming. Blueprints versus Wildell will be one of the community games from that stream. I have not watched it. I'm not going to watch it. We're going to embark on a magical journey together, and we're going to find out who of the meme lords is going to take the prize and going to take the throne of meme lord-ishness. Awesomeness. I don't know. So that's the first and I guess I had 4 announcements. The other announcement. This is going exactly the way I planned it to. You can completely tell that I wrote everything down. So a couple of announcements are made right now, and that's that the finals are the 20th. Tuesday is a community games. There will be multiple games. One of them will be Wildell versus Blueprints. Now the other announcement, and in my opinion, the biggest announcement, and this is the last announcement. Let's get rid of the number of announcements. I don't know, guys. I'm just talking to you. I can confirm that there will be another Titans League tournament. Yes, that is correct. There will be a new tournament. And that tournament will start the 5th of March. So there will be a little break. Let me get my life back together, because this completely destroyed everything, which is fine because it's awesome. But let me just prepare things, and the 5th of March we will return with another Titans League tournament, and yes, it will be Age of Empires 2. In fact, I can say that right now, the next tournament will be an Age of Empires 2 HD edition base game 2v2 tournament. So it's time to recruit a partner to play some games together, practice some games together, and we're going to have a 2v2 tournament in what I would say is almost the same format as we had here in the 1v1 tournament. So get a friend, recruit a friend, and let's go, guys. I'm super excited. Now, in terms of recruitment, I would like everyone to try and to recruit someone that didn't participate in the current Age of Empires tournament. Let's get this community bigger. So if you can't find anyone, that's fine. But I want to ask everyone to find someone that has not played in a tournament yet. That would be much appreciated, so that we can all have giggles together when we are going to battle it out on the 2v2 tournament. The 5th of March it will start. For everyone that has played, they will receive an email a couple of weeks before that with an invitation to sign up, so you will be notified, and of course I will talk about it more in the week to come. But yeah, that's what it's going to be, guys. The 5th of March, the 2v2 tournament will start, and probably that will be the day that we will start with. I guess I didn't decide if because I'm pretty certain I will do the group drawing the same way, but I have to think about that. I haven't thought it through completely. But the fact is that the 2v2 tournament is definitely going to be a thing. Okay, guys, that was a very quick stream. In some ways, maybe a little bit disappointing, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Laser Raptor will win very, very convincingly. Flojo versus Laser Raptor, the finals, this Sunday. What day again? The 20th? I'm lost. Yes, the 20th of January, 7 o'clock. I'll see you then, guys. I wish you all a very nice evening. Enjoy your Sunday. And I will see you guys Tuesday for Blue Prince versus Wildell. Let's go!